In alhamdulillah wa salam ala wa rasulullah. We're continuing with the hadiths from Sahih Muslim, the book of business transactions. Today, what we're going to do is speak about hadiths addressing things that are unlawful for us to sell as Muslims. And we're going to also explore the hadiths that address how whatever is unlawful to eat is unlawful to be sold. And this is what a lot of Muslims ask me about. Sister Layla, can I sell my piano? A person converts to Islam and that person used to be a musician. They have a piano or they have a harp or they have a guitar. They want to know, can they sell it? Even though, Islam says musical instruments are haram. Well, the answer is yes, they can sell it because it's not something to eat. It was not something that was ingested. However, can I sell something that's haram for us to eat? The answer is no, and we're going to explore these hadiths. Okay? First of all, Allah is the one that makes the rain fall from the sky. We talked about how the land belongs to Allah. And this is something that even Muslims have a hard time understanding. In certain parts of the world, you find Muslims fighting for land. They have to understand that the land does not belong to them, it belongs to Allah. And just as the land belongs to Allah, so does the water that Allah sends down to flourish the land. And so this is why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if you live on a part of the earth in which water is scarce, it is forbidden for you to make use of the water for yourself and then sell the rest to others. We're not talking about selling bottled water. I'm talking about water like you see in this picture. This is an oasis in the desert. The desert is a barren place. You're not going to come upon much water. It is forbidden in Islam for a person to build a wall to prevent that water from carrying over into other parts of the earth. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said excess water must not be withheld as a means of preventing the growth of other plants and as a means of preventing other people to benefit from it by growing their crops with it and etc. and using it to clean and wash themselves and drink. Does everybody understand that? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, do not withhold excess water just to prevent others from growing and benefiting. Okay? So we can't do that. That's just like, say there's a river that runs between my property and my neighbor's property. The river belongs to Allah. I can't say that I'm going to go make a dam. I'm going to build a dam to prevent the river from flowing to my neighbor's property. I can't do that. This is haram. That river belongs to Allah. It doesn't belong to me. I cannot stop that river from flowing to other people so they can benefit from it. So this is something that we have to remember to not do. Okay? And also, this is important. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbade the hiring of a camel to cover a she camel. What does that mean? That means it is forbidden in Islam for you to hire a dog, say for example, a bull to mate with your cow. You can't do that. And a lot of people do this sperm, what they paying for breeding. You can't pay for it to breed like that. I cannot go and hire a male camel to mate with a female camel. I cannot hire a bull to mate with a cow just so I can, we can't. You do it for free because again, Allah is the one that is in charge of this. Nothing will be unless Allah says be. If Allah says be, you can pay for that bull to mate with your cow for 3, 4, 5 years, and that cow will never get pregnant. Okay? Because Allah is in charge. So we don't pay for that. If you want my bull to mate with your cow, here, I'll do it for free. But I cannot charge you a price in that. And there's a lot of people who do this. They breed animals all the time and charge money. This is a sin in Islam. Okay? Not only is that a sin, not only is it a sin to breed animals like that, it is also a sin to sell a dog. It is also a sin to sell cats. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbade the charging of a price for a dog. He also forbade the earnings of a prostitute, and he also forbade sweets offered to a person who claims to see the future. Let me give you an example. I love cats. All of my cats are thoroughbreds. I have a thoroughbred Maine Coon. I also have a thoroughbred Norwegian Forest cat. And I have a thoroughbred Turkish Angora. I did not buy any of them. They're expensive. A Maine Coon can be anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000. A Norwegian Forest cat can be $4,000 too. Turkish Angora, $2,000 to $4,000 too. I don't have that type of money. Plus, Islam forbids us from buying and selling cats. So what did I do? I adopted mine. Alhamdulillah, except for that Norwegian Forest cat. The Norwegian Forest cat I got, he's wild. I got him in the wild. I saw him as a baby. His mother had him. Y'all remember my little cat named Booby? He's her offspring. He's a wild cat. So I got lucky with him. Allah brought him to me and I raised him and he's still wild. Okay, but my Maine Coon and my Turkish Angora, I adopted. I went to an animal protection place and adopted them so they wouldn't kill them. Okay, but if I had bought them, this is haram. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam disproved of selling dogs and cats and paying money to buy a dog and a cat. We can't do that. So if you guys like cats and want to have a cat, you better go to the adoptions place, Animal League, at the Animal Shelter, and adopt them. And you can get some nice breeds. You'll get a Persian. I had a Persian cat. You can adopt every kind, from the, adoption place. And also, everybody knows that prostitution is haram. And if something is haram morally, that means we cannot make profit from it either. So we cannot take the earnings of a prostitute. And for people who go around claiming that they can predict the future, we don't take their money is unlawful as well. Okay? And also, we cannot sell blood. I repeat. Islam forbids Muslims from selling blood. A lot of people like to go to the blood bank and make a donation because they pay you $20. No, you cannot sell your blood. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the worst money is the money of a prostitute. Also, the money received for selling a dog, and also the money of one who sells blood. We cannot sell our blood. Just like we can't eat blood, we can't sell it. Okay? And there's a lot of Muslims out there who transgress the limits. I know Muslims who breed dogs just to sell them. You shouldn't be breeding a dog anyway. And then selling it too, this is haram. And we wonder why Allah is punishing us. And that brings us to the next hadiths. A lot of people ask me, is it true, Sister Layla, that you cannot have a dog as a pet? In fact, you're supposed to kill them? Well, in the beginning, when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam found out, and I must share this, this is the history. I want everybody to pay attention to the history behind these hadiths. When Allah sent down the revelation letting the Prophet know that shaitan can take on the appearance of different animals, and one of the number one animals that shaitan takes the appearance of is a dog. When Allah sent that revelation to the Prophet did order that all dogs be killed. But that was abrogated. After he did that, that's when Allah said, no, it's only a certain type of dog. Not all dogs. Not every dog you see is a jinn. Or not every dog you see is shaitan. Only a certain type. So the Prophet abrogated that. And in regards to keeping them as a pet, he had forbade us from keeping them as a pet because the angels do not enter a home that has a dog. When the Prophet learned that, that's when he forbade us from keeping them as a pet. Because if you have a dog as a pet, the angels of mercy do not enter your home. However, dogs do serve a purpose. Every animal that Allah created serves a purpose, including dogs. Dogs may not be able to be used for pets, but we can use them for service. For example, a sheep dog, like you see in this picture. Dogs can be trained to be sheep dogs. You can train a dog to protect the family. You can train a dog to go hunting. As long as you're utilizing them to service you, then it's lawful to have them. But there's a difference between a dog that is used for service and a dog that is a pet. If you have a guard dog, if there's a dog that you trained to guard your family, you cannot make a pet out of him. Because if you make a pet out of him, guess what? He's not going to guard anymore. These dogs are kept outside the home. And they do nothing but guard. They are trained to attack. And it doesn't matter what type. You can train any dog to be a guard dog. You can train any dog to be a work dog. You can train any dog to be a hunting dog. So it doesn't matter what type. Okay, the point here is you cannot make them a personal pet. Okay, but we do not kill dogs. Okay, we do not sell them. We do not breed them and charge money, but we can have them as a service. Let's look at the hadiths here. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered the killing of dogs. And when he did, we would send men to Medina, and they did not spare the life of any dog. We killed so many that there were no dogs to even accompany a sheep in the desert. And this is when, again, this is the history behind those verses. Okay? When the Prophet found out that shaitan could take on the appearance of a dog, he said, kill them all. But when they did that, that's when Allah said, wait. I don't mean kill all dogs. What I meant was there's only a certain type of dog that shaitan himself takes appearance of. And that's when the Prophet said, don't kill them anymore. Let's look at the second hadith. The Prophet ordered the killing of dogs, except for the dog that is trained for hunting or guarding sheep, or guarding domestic animals. Okay, so that's when the Allah sent down the abrogation, said, wait a minute, don't kill them all. Only kill the one in particular. And let's look at the next hadith. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered us to kill dogs, and we carried out his command so much that we killed every dog we came upon in Medina. And then the Prophet abrogated that. He said the dog that is to be killed is the jet black dog that has 2 spots on his eyes, because this one is a devil. So there's the proof of what I just told you. You have to know the history of these hadiths. So yes, in the beginning, the Prophet did order the killing of dogs. But that was canceled out when he understood that Shaitan only takes the appearance of a jet black dog with 2 spots on the eyes. Now, if you see a jet black dog with 2 spots on the eyes, then you can kill it, because that's the devil. And no, we cannot have a dog as a pet unless it's a dog that is being guarding your family and all of that. And those are not pets anyway. Those are guard dogs and service dogs. You cannot make a pet out of them. You make a pet out of them, they won't be able to do their job anymore. Then that last hadith, the Prophet said, whoever keeps a dog other than one that is meant to hunt or to protect will lose 2 mountains worth of blessings every day. So there's the evidence. We cannot have a dog as a pet. Any of you who have dogs living with you as a pet, you are losing 2 mountains worth of good deeds every day. How many of us can even have a mountain worth of good deeds? Well, that's the punishment for keeping a dog as a pet. That doesn't mean that we go around killing dogs. It doesn't mean that we hurt them. It doesn't mean that I can't touch them. A lot of people say, Sister Layla, can I pet a dog? Yes. Touching a dog, by the way, does not break your wudu. We already went over those hadiths when we did the series on prayer and wudu. Touching a dog does not break your wudu. The dog's saliva does not make you impure or any of that. We can touch a dog. We can pet a dog. But we just cannot have it as a pet. Does everybody understand that? I had one sister ask me, Sister Layla, my neighbor wants me to walk her dogs for her because she's going out of town for a week. Can I walk her dogs for her? Yes, we can touch dogs. We just cannot have them as a personal pet. Does everyone understand that? So these hadiths are the proofs. We don't go around killing dogs and hurting them. We love all the lost creatures. It's just that I'm not going to take him in my house and make a pet out of him. That's all. I think dogs are wonderful creatures. They're cute. I wouldn't want them in my house because they're so nasty, but I'd pet dogs. People come by with their dog. Oh, he's a cutie. The dogs like to come up to me for some reason for me to rub their hair. I rub their head and let them keep going. Okay? And now that brings us to the next chapter. The next chapter that addresses what about a person who earns his living? Cupping. And what is cupping? I want you guys to look at this picture here. Cupping is something that's done to a man to try to purify his blood. There's no need for a woman to be cupped. If a woman has a menses, because your body releases the bad blood every month naturally. But men, they don't have a menses. So cupping is a way of taking the bad blood out to purify you. Now, you have some Muslims out there who tell you that it's haram to pay a person to cup you. This is not correct. What is haram is for us to sell blood. But nowhere does Islam forbid us from paying a person to cup you. Ibn Abbas tells us one of the slaves cupped the Prophet and the Prophet paid him. So if it was unlawful to pay a person for cupping you, then the Prophet would not have done it. So there's your evidence right there. The Prophet himself used to get cupped and he would pay the person who cupped him. The next hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam called for a young man to be brought before him, and the man cupped him. And then the Prophet ordered that the man be paid one fistful worth of wheat. So here's some more proof. The Prophet was cupped and he paid the cupper. Also the next hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was cupped. His cupper was Abu Taiba, and the Prophet commanded he be given 2 handfuls of corn. So there you can see. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the best treatment which you take is cupping, and it is one of the best ways of treating a person who is sick. So these hadiths put to rest the misconception that some Muslims have that you cannot pay a person for cupping you. Yes, you can. The prohibition is against selling blood. That's what we are forbidden to do. We are forbidden to sell blood. And now, that brings us to the principle that every Muslim needs to understand. Whatever is unlawful for us to eat is unlawful for us to sell. I repeat, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whatever is unlawful to eat is unlawful to sell. Now, this does not apply to things we don't eat. For example, we have the hadith before, whereas the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was given a shirt. He was given a shirt that was made of silk. The Prophet took the shirt and gave it to Umar and said, "Isn't your brother still a non-Muslim?" He said, "Yes." He said, "Take this shirt, either give it to your brother or sell it." Remember we went over that hadith? A lot of people say, well, since it's haram for a man to wear silk, why did the Prophet tell Umar he can sell it? The reason being is because you can't eat it. Okay? The things that Allah has forbidden for us to eat, we cannot sell. But if it's something that has nothing to do with eating, we can. And that's why I tell you, yes, you can sell your guitar. Yes, you can sell a piano, because these are things that we don't eat. But you cannot sell wine. You cannot sell cigarettes. Why? Because cigarettes are ingested too. You cannot sell drugs. Why come I can't sell drugs? Because we eat the drugs. We ingest the drugs. Does everyone understand? Let's look at the hadith. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was giving a speech in Medina. He said, "O people, Allah is giving me an indication that he will be forbidding the use of alcohol. He is probably going to send down that command soon. So whoever has alcohol should either sell it right now." And as soon as the Prophet said that, he was quiet, because Allah then sent the revelation telling him that it cannot be sold. So the Prophet said, "Verily, Allah has forbidden wine. So whoever hears this verse and he has any of it with him should not drink it nor sell it." Instead, pour it out. And that's what the people did. Now, let me give you some history here. In the beginning of the prophethood, wine was not forbidden. In fact, when the Muslims fought the Battle of Badr, many of them were drunk when they fought because it wasn't haram to drink at that point. Islam was revealed in stages. Allah set forth the prohibitions in stages. As their faith grew, that's when he began to forbid more things. So in the beginning of the prophethood, alcohol was not haram. So when Allah sent the message down making it haram, that's when the prophet said, you can, from this day forward, we cannot drink alcohol. So whoever has it, pour it out. He said, and you cannot sell it either. And this was when the concluding verses of Surah Baqarah were revealed. And Aisha tells us that when the last verses of Surah Baqarah were revealed, the prophet went out, read them to the people, and then forbade them to not only drink wine, but to sell it as well. Okay? The next hadith tells us that a person asked the prophet, what do you want us to do with the wine? The prophet, he said, pour it out. You cannot sell it, so pour it out. And the streets of Medina ran red with wine. That's how much wine they threw away. Okay, so I want you guys to remember this is one of the principles of permissibility. Whatever is haram for us to eat is haram to sell. So that includes any alcohol products, cigarettes, drugs, any intoxicants, and also pork. Because there's a lot of Muslims out there that own those convenience stores and they sell pork. You cannot sell pork. It's haram for us to eat the pig, so we cannot sell it. The same with roadkill. It's haram for us to eat roadkill. What is roadkill? Look at this picture. This is a picture of a dead deer. If you're driving down the freeway and you see a dead deer on the ground, you cannot pick it up and sell it. The Prophet ﷺ said, verily, Allah and his messenger have forbidden the sale of wine, the sale of carcasses, the sale of pig and idols. Why is it that we cannot sell an idol? Because this has to do with worship. What did we talk about yesterday? Anything that violates our way of worshiping Allah, we take no parts in it. And that means we can't sell it either. That's why you cannot sell crosses. You cannot sell Jewish paraphernalia. You cannot sell idols that the pagans worship. You can't sell that because this contradicts Tawheed. So whatever Allah forbade to eat cannot be sold. And anything related to worshiping something other than Allah cannot be sold either. Okay? The next hadith, Ibn Abbas tells us the news reached Umar that a person has sold some wine. Umar said, may Allah destroy him. Does he not know that the Prophet said, let there be the curse of Allah on the Jews? Because when Allah made fat forbidden to them, they still melted it and sold it. You don't want to be like the Jews, disobeying Allah. But unfortunately, a lot of Muslims are. They're selling alcohol, they're selling drug paraphernalia, they're selling cigarettes, wine, even roadkill probably, just to make a dollar bill. So what do we walk away having learned today from these wonderful hadiths? Well, you learn first of all that Islam forbids being in a land where water is scarce and there is some excess, so you sell it or withhold it from others. This is haram. We also learn that Islam forbids us from selling dogs or selling cats. That means you can't buy a cat, guys. You better go to the adoption place and adopt one, even a dog. You cannot buy a dog. If you need a hunting dog, if you need a fire dog, if you need a service dog, you better go to the animal league and buy one. Adopt one, and you can train it. Also, Islam forbids having a dog as a pet. Okay, you can. That doesn't mean that we can't touch a dog, that I can't, pet a dog. It means I just can't take it in my home as a pet. Also, we learned that money taken from prostitution is haram. Also, the selling of blood is haram. Also, we learn Islam does not tell us to kill dogs. That hadith was abrogated. The only dog that you can kill is a black dog with two white spots over its eyes. We also learn that if a person works as a cupper, his earnings are lawful. We also learn that not only is drinking wine haram, but selling it is haram as well. Also, roadkill. Selling roadkill is haram. Selling pigs are haram. Anything that is haram to eat is haram to sell. And also, we learn that selling an idol is haram because this has to do with worship. Anything related to worshiping something other than Allah, we cannot make money from. So, these are the wonderful hadiths that we walk away with having gained knowledge of today. Tomorrow, what I'm going to do is give you a quiz similar to what I did today to see if you understand the meaning and the history. It's very important to know the history of the hadiths. And that's why I tell you guys, the scholars of hadith are rare. It's not that many out there. There's no way you can pick up these hadith books and start reading them and think you're going to walk away having understood them. No, you have to learn from the people of knowledge. A lot of people say, Sister Layla, how do you know this stuff? I have a person of knowledge. I have a scholar of hadith I have learned from. I've learned the meaning and the history of these hadiths from a bona fide, qualified scholar of hadith. And it's not that many. There's only a few of them left in this world, to be honest. Allah has blessed me with being in contact with one of them. That is Sheikh Morsi. Everybody knows Sheikh Morsi is my teacher. And I'm proud of that and honored. Okay, on that note, we're going to stop right here for today. If there's any questions or comments about any of these hadiths, or if there's more clarification needed about them, or if you have any other questions about things we've discussed already or whatever, you can go ahead and type them on the screen. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik.